Make your sour taste special with traditional high-quality white brine cheese. Try Cascavel cheese topping, the original and traditional yogurt made with European starter culture Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Taste the difference.
Dairy Daily European Taste.
Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon, my name is Sefran, and this is Johan's Network. From one of our informers in Canada. The minimum wage has increased in Canada yesterday, and it is causing a lot of mayhem. There is a high supply for labor, but there is not enough laborers demanded by the firms, as it is more expensive to hire unpaid employees.
Even if you find a full-time job paying $10.25, you barely make ends meet. At the end of the month, after paying for rent, transportation, and a bit of food, you end up with nothing.
It was Dina Ladd of the Workers' Action Center. Now, the organized labor points to the ongoing loss of manufacturing jobs, including the recent announcement of the 500 jobs which will be lost at the Kellogg's plant in London, which is the cornflakes. And they say it's one more reason why there has to be higher minimum wage. That was the breaking news from Ontario. Now, what is labor? The aggregate of all humans' physical and mental effort used in creation of goods and services. Labor is primarily a factor of production. The size of a national labor force is determined by the size of its adult population and the point to which the adults are either working or are prepared to offer their labor for wages. Well, down to the definition of labor. Now, factor that affect supply. The real wage rate on offer in the industry itself. Higher wages should boost the number of people willing and able to work. Overtime. Opportunities to boost earnings come through overtime, productivity-related pay schemes, and share options schemes. Substitute occupations. The real wage rate on offer in competing jobs is another factor because this affects the wage and earnings differential that exists between two or more occupations. So for example, an increase in the relative earnings available to trained plumbers and electricians may cause some people to switch their jobs. Increase in demand or reduction in supply will raise wages. An increase in supply or reduction in demand will lower them. In the long run, the supply of labor is simply a function of the population size. But in the short run, it depends on variables such as worker preferences, the skills and training a job requires, and wages available in alternative occupations. Another factor of supply is working age. Lowering the working age of people will increase the supply of labor. An increase in the retirement age will increase the supply of labor. Now, to Nabil, who will talk about demand and its factors for labor.
And I will be explaining you what demand for labor is. Demand for labor is a concept that explains the amount of demand for labor that a firm is willing to employ at a given point in time. It is determined by the firms that are willing to pay for this labor. By the wage rate, if there is an increase in wage rate, then there will be less demand for labor, and the amount of labor that works and that are willing to supply at that rate. The demand for labor increases market wages and more workers enter the market. This will lead to firms hiring less people because it will be more expensive to hire labor at that cost. Some factors that affect the demand for labor are changes in technology, changes in product demanded, and changes in the number of firms. Technology can increase the demand for workers at times and decrease the demand at other times. If computer chips that are more powerful are produced, there will be more demand for software engineers. It may also modernize the other production processes, and it might reduce the demand for workers in that specific area of work. If a product's demand rises, then there will be more demand for the factors that produce a product. A change in demand for a final product changes its price, meaning that if demand for a product rises, then the firms of that company will look to employ more labor for producing that product. Changes in number of firms The number of firms determines how much labor is required. If the number of firms increases, then so does the demand. A reduction in the number of firms would shift the demand curve to the right. The labor supply curve for an industry or occupation will be upward sloping. This is because as wages rise, other workers enter this industry, attracted by the incentive of higher rewards. They may have moved from other occupations, or they may not have previously held a job, such as housewives or the unemployed.
Yeah. It's my life. My own words, I guess.
Have you ever loved someone so much you giving on for? Not the expression, no, literally giving on for when they know